Chapter 35. Chris. As I wake up, I look around, but I don't see Rachel. Getting up, I get dressed so I can go look for her. When I open the door, I see Max walking out of his room across the hall. "Morning, man," I say, so he looks up from his phone. "Morning. I got a text from Jason asking about the list of cars you want to put in the dealership," he tells me as he shows me the text. "Yes, there is a few in the warehouse in Sunnyvale that I was going to send over there. Can you see if Jason can come to the States for about a week to get the cars and get them shipped to Germany? He can stay at the hotel and I can send a plane to pick him up," I answer as we walk to the kitchen. When we walk in the kitchen, we find all the girls in the kitchen cooking and talking. Rachel is setting up on the island, making toast. So I walk over to her. Standing between her legs, I wrap my arms around her and lay my head on her shoulder. After a few minutes, Josh and James walks into the kitchen with us, so all four of us guys walk over to the table by the pool. When the girls bring the food out, my stomach starts to rumble. Once we are all done eating, we decide to go out to the shop that is on another part of the land. Opening the door, we look around. It has been a while since I was out here, so I forgot what cars I even have here. We all pick different cars and head to the track for the day. After hours of going around the track, we go over to the shop to eat lunch and chill. While they order food, I go up to the office to get some work done. Starting on emails, I go through countless of them before I hear the door open. Looking over, Rachel walks over to the desk, sitting on the edge. So I lean back. "Can I help you, baby?" I ask, in a playful voice. She looks down at her lap, like she wants to ask something but is afraid of the answer. "Come here," I whisper, and push my chair back so she can sit on my lap. Smiling, she jumps down and moves to my lap. I go through a handful more emails before Rachel starts to shake on my lap. Leaning into her neck, I kiss a trail up to her ear and whisper, "What are you doing?" Laughing, she looks over her shoulder and answers,
"Nothing,"
making me laugh. Moving my keyboard to the side, I stand Rachel up.
"What are you doing?"
she asks me, confused. Putting my hand on her back, I softly push so she is leaning over my desk. Moving my hands to her knees, I start to run my hands up her legs, and she moves them further apart. When I get to the bottom of her skirt, I push it up to expose her ass. Standing up, I push my chair back and unzip my pants as Rachel moans. With one hand, I push my jeans down, and with the other, I lower her panties. Just as I slide into her, there is a knock on the door, so I yell, "Go the hell away!"
"Did you have to be so mean?"
Rachel asks, as I pull out of her all the way to the tip. Thrusting all the way back into her to the hilt, she moans. "Still want me to stop?" I ask with a playful voice as I lean over her back and cup her breast. She doesn't answer, she only shakes her head as I thrust into her again and again. I was worried about hurting her, but she seems to really like it rough. Fuck, I know I do. After pounding into her over and over, her legs start to shake, so I pull out, making her whine. With a smile, I turn her around and set her on the desk. I put my arms under her knees and pound into her again. Rachel sucks and bites on my neck, making me moan her name. When we are both very satisfied, we get our clothes back into place. As I sit back at the desk, Rachel walks over to the fridge. Getting a water out, she also brings me one. Sitting on the couch, Rachel pulls out her phone and starts to laugh. "What?" I ask, confused.
"Liz is asking if we are finished fucking. She said we are loud, and they turn on the music."
I just shrug and go back to work on my computer. After a few minutes of silence, Rachel whispers,
"That isn't the reason I came up here."
I turn to her with a smile as I confess, "Baby, I wouldn't care if it was. I also know you didn't just come up here for sex." Smiling at me, she walks over and kisses me. Since I really do need to go through these emails, I tell her, why don't you go have fun with the girls? Take the cars back to the track if you want. With a laugh, she walks to the door.
I love you.
I love you too, I reply.
Rachel. Walking out of the office, Liz meets me at the bottom of the stairs. I don't say anything as we walk over to the other girls. After a while of talking, we walk out to the parking lot. After a while, a fancy car pulls up, so we all look at each other. Who is that? I ask, but Bethany only shrugs. A driver gets out of the car and walks to the back door, opening it up. An older lady steps out, looking around before she sticks her nose into the air. Looking back into the car, she starts to talk, or more like fuss, to someone. We all just watch, not really knowing what is going on. Finally, a girl gets out of the car, and Liz gasps, making me turn to her. Before I can ask who that is, Bethany grits, "Fuck," and takes off to the shop. Who is that? I ask Liz, very confused. As the girl starts to the shop, Max runs out.
Go home.
He fusses to the girls.
No need to be rude, Max.
The older lady protests. The younger girl whispers,
Mom, let's just go, please.
I agree with your daughter. Don't you think you have done enough?
Max states. I see Chris walk out of his office looking very pissed. Bethany walks over to me and says,
Rachel, come on, Chris wants you inside.
I stand for a minute, confused, until I hear the lady say,
Rachel.
Looking at her, she looks pissed, making me ask myself what I did. The lady takes a step to me, but Max moves so he is between me and the girls as Chris runs over.
Get the hell out of here, Doris.
He grits, pulling me behind him. I notice the girl behind her lower her head to look at the ground when she sees Chris touch me. I feel so lost, so confused at the moment. Wrapping my arms around Chris, I lay my chin on his shoulder. Moving his arms behind him, Chris holds me. Looking at the girl, I can't help but wonder why she looks familiar for. After a moment, it hits me. This is the model in the teen magazine. What was that girl's name?
Chris, don't be like this.
The lady says with a fake smile.
Get out of here now.
Chris grits out.
We heard you moved back to the States, so we wanted to pay you a visit.
The lady says, but something in her voice is off.
You are not welcome. Now get off my property now.
He says, and points to the road before returning his hand to hold me.
Mother, let's go.
The girl whispers, as she looks from Chris to me. She looks like she is trying to hold back the tears as she turns back to the car. Just before she gets in, she turns to me.
Rachel, right?
She asks. I only nod as Chris protests.
Leave her alone.
Putting her hands up, she answers,
I won't hurt her, Christopher.
After a soft sigh, she adds,
You are very lucky to have him. Don't let him go.
I just look at her confused. Who are you? I ask. But before she can answer, Chris speaks over her.
It doesn't matter.
You know I really did love you, even if you never shared the same feelings.
She says, and my world shatters. This girl is Brittany, as in his ex. He dated a fucking model. I, all of a sudden, find it hard to breathe and stumble back. This is the end of My Brother's Roommate. I hope you enjoyed the story. Go check out Book 2, Follow Your Heart, to find out what happens next. Rachel already doesn't feel like she is good enough for Chris. What will this do to their relationship now that she has found out his ex is a model? Will Doris leave them alone, or will she go after Rachel in an effort to make her leave? Will Brittany learn how to tell her mother no, or will she fall into line and mess Chris's life up yet again? How far is Chris willing to go for the girl he loves?